we are going to welcome two technological evangelists. One of them, Petr Mara, a YouTuber and influencer, and our UX evangelist is going to talk to him. And I think the two have a lot in common, many interests and other things. So up to you guys. Hi, thank you very much and welcome to all the viewers. And also welcome to Petr Mara, one of the main and permanent guests we got here. This is the fourth conference of this kind, University Open. So there are so many different things you do. I'm actually amazed. Whenever we think about a topic we'd like to talk about, there is always Petr Mara who has a lot to say on the subject. Today we are talking about startups and launching businesses, something that's really close to your heart. You've been involved in that since you were born. In fact, I have been employed for 2 weeks in my life, and ever since I knew this was or is not the way forward for me. So to begin, you are sort of an opposition to the typical idea people have of a businessman who tries to build his business. So you've come up with the idea that it's better to focus on your own productivity and the productivity of a small team. Has it been like that always? Or have you ever tried to build a big business? Well, for the whole of my life, I've been trying to build a big business, but I haven't succeeded yet. So, before the crash of the bubble in the economics, I built businesses, then I started doing different things. I started to work for Apple, then I did what was called the Digit podcast in 2005 and 2006, and when it all started to work, I decided to do other things. Then I got involved in online research, which was a thing which was a bit ahead of its time again. But the feedback to my business showed me that it was more interesting for me to have freedom and a small team that allows you to focus on small things you're interested in and you're very flexible. But if you build a business, you need to spend at least a year focusing on it. And I like being involved in diverse activities because you may like e-cars, lectures, stuff like that. So the small team and the primary focus on yourself gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility and move your business from one subject, one activity to another. In the beginning, I thought I would like to have a big business which I'd sell and get retired, but actually I don't like it. I prefer increasing the value of the sources I have. Okay, so it's very good to find and discover your strengths and then find your goal in business making. In the beginning, or one time, I focused on productivity and productivity training, and I had to find my strengths, and it turned out I'm definitely not a founder, because founders need to manage people. But for me, that's a weakness. I can't do that well, so my favorite size of a team is 4 or 5 people. That way, I have enough time for myself. So you need to get to know yourself and then decide what you want to do. It's not worth trying different things for 20 years. Okay, so talking about the way you operate now, can you tell us a little bit about your business? What is it building a personal brand? Well, business relies on several pillars. One thing that I do, I've been doing it for 20 years, is AI workshops, presentations. You hand over the know-how, then Instagram and YouTube and online in general. So you build, or you're building, a media brand. You compete against TV, computer games, and Netflix. You try to kind of steal people's attention. So, of course, there are different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and some of the things overlap. So what you do on YouTube can be used in offline. And basically, I was concerned that if I wasn't visible online, I wouldn't be visible offline. And as I'm more of a freelancer than a business person, I wanted to focus on my presentation, to present quality brands and products, to have a story which I could cover by the brand. And today I think that you need to build a brand and grow slowly. I do the same thing over and over again. I take a subject, I come to understand it, and then I hand it over. And maybe in 5 years' time, it'll be an avatar that'll do it. I don't know. But it's constantly the same jewel that you work with, and you don't want to destroy it. I don't manage. I'm a freelancer, so I hire freelancers for several hours a week. I pick people who are in charge of their own productivity. I just want to do my own thing, and I know that I can delegate parts of the problem to other people who can solve the problem, and I can focus on my own thing. So I simply don't like the idea of having employees. I simply hire someone once a month, and I never own the people. They have their own projects, work for other people, and that's the best for me. You have a project, you hire people for that project, and then you go on. Absolute freedom. So going back to the business and to the money that you earn, what is it that earns you the money? You have, let's say, thousands or tens of thousands of viewings. Is that what earns you the money, and you don't really do anything else? So from time to time you just make a video, or what? Well, regarding YouTube, I'm a small producer in the context of earning money on ads. You can decide you'll be on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. YouTube is the best because you can use long formats, and YouTube will insert ads in your content. But even if there is several hundreds of viewings a month, it's not enough. So the business is built on the fact that you create a video and you look for a partner that'll bring or insert the ad in the video, and that's how the building is built. Of course, lectures are built on one-to-one communication with the client. So if there's a conference, I'll come and speak. Okay. So many people think maybe that YouTubers will make a video and earn a lot of money. And generally, this may apply to authors, production. So there is a small group of people who are successful on YouTube. Although it may seem that there are many YouTubers with a lot of money. But the truth is that there are only a few that actually earn those big money. Yes, definitely, you're right. There is, let's say, a peak where you can live on YouTube. But there are other people who are 20 years old or maybe 15, and they do the video in their bedroom, literally. And there is a difference if you do this and if you actually have a studio to produce your videos. So it's about the price and the investment. But talking about the figures, I think I'm at the peak, but there are YouTubers who are much farther, and they are able to get the money from merch, ads, and other things. So it's motivating for those who are beneath you and want to get up the hill. You've suggested some things about the productivity of your team. Productivity is something that's really closely connected with your name. So how does it work in practice? You said that you don't really do any micromanagement. You don't deal with the team in terms of its productivity. So what do you do so that you or your collaborators would be productive? Well, my productivity, that's something that, that's the things that I like. You need to be motivated. You need to focus on the given project. And to me, it's creation of content or video content and lectures. So I do the job and I take a rest. It's like a lion that chills out and then goes hunting, eats, and chills out again. So it's about focusing well on one thing and then taking a rest. So I hire people who have internal motivation. They're not motivated with money. They want to do the job, they want to be successful, and that's the easiest to me. We only agree on the reward, but I can't motivate people. I don't really know how to do that. I find motivation inside, and that's why it's so hard for me to motivate or manage a team. Because if I don't have the right people, it won't work. So it's about seeing each other once a week, knowing the goal, and do the job. And where they do it, whether it's in a studio or somewhere else, I don't really care. I need to have people who are creative and do the right thing. You need the people for brainstorming. So I don't really need to see them every day, but we need to meet once or twice a week, have lunch, and come up with ideas. AI is part of my team today. Is a smart assistant, so I combined all these things together. So what's interesting is that the productivity solution is actually not dealing with productivity at all in other people or you, because everybody should be motivated from the inside. Yes, that's the modern trend of operation. Building businesses is great, and if you're a founder and can do that, and you're enthusiastic, and you can imagine how you can scale the business up, it's great. But if you can't do that, it's better to have a network of people who can work with you. You need to communicate to them what your goal is, hire them, and that's it. And I think this approach will be more and more visible, because you'll be a business, but it'll be you, yourself. It'll be an online brand, but in fact, you'll be the brand. And it's about taking good care of the brand. So you cannot destroy it, you can't damage it. It's the most precious thing that you have, your name. You are talking about the fact that you do these sprints, you are the lion. Yeah, it's just an image, but Is it a combination, or does it come in combination with creativity? If you go for productivity, you can't do that 12 hours a day. Right. I had a period, there was a period in my life when I was actually ill. So productivity is really important. If you're able to work for 4 hours a day, you need to be really productive. And then you just rest and look for ideas. But the best ideas are found when you talk to people or you're bored. You watch videos on YouTube and you say, well, why do I like this video or not? So not doing anything is the time when I get the inspiration. I look at my notes and you do something new that works. So I don't think you can operate 24 hours a day. A good, fast sprint for a limited period of time is good. I think it works with most of the people. 3-4 hours a day of productivity and then rest.
Exaggerate, you may get burned out. Yes. This targeted non-productivity seems to be a very useful tip. If you watch YouTube, you may say, I'm not productive now, but you leave space for creativity. And it is in that space of creativity that new ideas come. Yes, exactly. And in the past, I didn't understand that. I thought it was necessary to be productive. But if you do that on a long term, you just get tired and burned out. Okay. If out of everything, not only what you said, but somehow, in general, we should conclude some recommendation to people who would like to start their own business or have a good idea. What should they focus on? What are the things that determine the success or failure? And conversely, what are the things people concentrate too much on and they are not so significant? If I started today, I would probably think about how to test my idea as quickly as possible. Because you cannot set up a company if you do not test your bearing idea. So you must find out whether people would be interested in your product. So I would not concentrate so much on the company to be established, but rather on either a product or service I would want to provide. People want having everything today in 6 months, to have a lamp in 3 months, but the world doesn't go this way. And in many individuals, you can see that they are successful, and it may seem that they became successful overnight. But that's not true, because you do not know that the same person had worked on the idea, I don't know, for 10 years and changed different key ideas of his or her own. So if you are lucky enough that you do not experience any failures, you do not learn much. For me, successful entrepreneurs are those who had many failures, but still they continued and eventually they came to the success. So, of course, many people speak on social networks about their success, and you may get the idea that it was very fast, but in reality it is not the case. And also, you cannot see on social medias that the person had trained or learned a specific skill. Yes, exactly. It's not that at the age of 20 you get 1 year sabbaticals because you feel tired. No, you must work, you must act. This is what brings you experience. It's not that you just think things over and read things. No, you must do things as well. When you spoke about your team, how it is set up, I think what could be a good advice as well, if we have an idea, it doesn't mean necessarily that I must be able to draw a business plan immediately with a 5-member team in accounting or 10 IT specialists. No, I should rather concentrate on what are my skills, and based on that, I may approach other people who have different skills, and I will give them freedom so that they can work in their own rhythm and way. And this is exactly, yes, I agree completely, this is exactly what could be suitable to many people, unlike those who really do not think about what are their major skills, what are their strengths. And by the way, you can never establish a company by yourself. There is always a team of successful people behind the one who established a successful company. This is also a piece of conscience we must get. Time is getting to its end very quickly, so let's pass to questions. The first question, biohacking. How much does it impact your life? Do you have any specific habit towards technologies that help you? Well, this topic sends me back to health and productivity. If you want to be productive, you must be healthy. Because if you are not healthy, the only thing that interests you is your health, and therefore you cannot be productive. And so, aura, measuring of sleep, you cannot do much without sleeping well. So, sleeping well, also food supplements. I read a book, thing like that, on my bio profile, including all recommendations in terms of food supplements and what to do, what not to do. So getting to balancing oneself, this is something, but this is not the basic pillar. You just must feel okay, and you must eat well and live properly. So this is not about technologies that will impose on you this way of living. It's really just to know your body, your parameters, and work on being healthy. So this is, again, trying to get your body, organism to a certain balance, to take it jokingly, not too seriously. Yes, exactly. If the program Aura tells people something that is very negative, I tell them, if I see that they are just ruined by it, I tell them, don't wear the wearing. Where do you see room for Czech authors on YouTube? In areas that are not covered yet, ideally. So not in AI room. AI will be there, but if you want to grow as quickly as possible, either you do the same as everybody around you does, you can do that, you will compete with Apple, and you have a chance that for some time you may be successful until, well, this is very difficult to compete with Apple experts because they are real experts. So I always try to find a different playground, not the playground where a team already plays with a good trainer. So it may be AI, but I would not explain to AI what I want. I would rather put AI in a context where competitors do not put it yet. So you may start with Apple, but then you may have a large array of topics, and you may first have this foundation and then to grow in large. If I am good at a thing in a sector, how should I think about where I could apply my skill, my specific skill, further? I mean, not to try something new, but to transfer my skill somewhere else. Yes, sure, to make a content nobody does do. Somebody is funny and can transform things into humor. Somebody combines the contents in different ways than others. Somebody looks for something new that nobody else has seen yet. So why to do things for the 100th time if others did it 100 times already? You are known for being the one who tests different technologies, different apps. Could you give us a specific advice? What is worthwhile? What among those technologies and apps help you? And you are like to test it. Always you tend to test different things, but very often you get back to the basics, because being able to function in a simple environment is more important for me than to be able to work in a more complex environment. Simple notes, reminder, calendar, these are things that are so easy to use, and they are very practical and useful because you can share, you can use them very easily. So if I am to choose two things I couldn't live without today, and I need these things, so one would be YouTube Premium, I mean subscription to YouTube. You may say, why? Why not to think about it? Because it costs just 250 crowns, and the value you get in return is enormous. So without publicity, you can follow the contents. And the other thing would be GPT. For, I don't know, 500 crowns a month, I get such a performing assistant. I couldn't find it in the market in terms of a living person. Nobody will work for me for 500 crowns. So if I am to choose among these almost free of charge applications, these two would it be? Okay, so rather than chasing the best possible app to be more productive, should I rather look at my own mindset? If I want to be productive, I may be productive with a reminder or with a piece of paper and a pencil. Yes, exactly. No application will save you. If you buy the most expensive car and you are a bad driver, you will not become a better driver. Exactly. The same thing applies to applications. Okay, and last question, very short one. How many hours per day Peter works actively? What is the time of being the lion? In autumn, I work a lot, perhaps 6 hours a day, which is a lot. You can imagine lectures and other activities. If it is not in the main season, rather 3 hours per day. And the rest? Well, as we spoke about it, this non-productive time, in fact, is also being productive. It's not that the Peter works just for 3 hours a day and he doesn't think or dedicate himself to the work for the rest of 24 hours. No. So if it is being totally focused, you may be that just between 3 and 6 hours per day, not more. It's not feasible. Thank you very much, Peter. Unfortunately, we do not have more time. I thank you for the invitation and for the dialogue. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the next time. Thank you.